First flight of the Algo Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Discovery's core computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hey guys, how's it going? It is Saturday night. We're back with our Saturday segment with Hambone, and he is doing a special crypto segment this week following our crypto week, so I will hand it off to him.
Hey everybody, thank you for the lovely introduction from lovely Kenna. Yeah, basically tonight I've just got like 3 cryptos that I'm gonna take a little bit of time to talk about. Just kind of give a brief overview of each of them, kind of talk about where they're at and their pricing right now, kind of look into their charting just a little bit. Um, then maybe wrap up with a little bit of juicy stuff coming out of the SEC versus Ripple lawsuits that are going on right now. But with all that being said, I hope everybody's ready for the long weekend, getting ready to enjoy themselves. I know we're in for some rain in our area, so just a second here to finish getting set up. All right, so yeah, the 3 of them I already kind of gave one of them away with XRP, but first two, the other two, Algo, obviously. I talked about it the last time. And Cardano. Those are the other two. So just a brief overview of Algo, just to kind of catch up, just in case no one was, or anyone here with us wasn't here last week. But some of my favorite things about it, it's a very unique proof of stake process. It's got the pure proof of stake process. It's the only version of this out there. Basically, it provides a solution to your typical blockchain trilemma: scalability, security, decentralization. Uh, let's see. Another thing I like about it, carbon neutral. It's always a plus. We had a lot of news come out over early part of the summer about like Bitcoin being a thing of concern with the toll it was taking on the energy grid or the electrical grid. Some of that kind of seems to have died off. I haven't really heard much of it since, but I guess we're back on track with that. But anyway, this isn't about Bitcoin. Again, carbon neutral for Algorand. It's got a high TPS rate, so transaction per second. So basically, how many transactions it conducts in a single second. Right now, I believe it's at 1,000 transactions per second. Just for reference, Bitcoin, I think, is at 50. Ethereum is at 5. Don't quote me on that, but I think those are the numbers that I last remember reading. But yeah, they're looking to update that from 1,000 TPS to 46,000. So that's quite a jump. Another thing that's nice about it, low gas fee. I myself have been minting NFTs, or trying to at least, on Algorand. Super simple process. The last week's segment, we talked about it, and we kind of went through the whole process of minting one scratch. But yeah, it's super accessible. The gas fee in comparison to something like Ethereum is fractions of a penny. I mean, it's like 0.001. I think whenever I minted my NFTs, I want to say it was like 30 cents or so, but roughly 0.33 algo or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but really cheap. It's got an impressive team behind it as well. But kind of talking more about Algo without talking about the technicalities of it and everything. Um, thinking about its charting right now. Right now, it's sitting at like $1.20 per algo. It's been on a run the last couple of months. I think since like I'm looking at CoinMarketCap right now, with the 1 year option selected here. Let's see. It looks like it fell back in the end of June or middle of June to like 75 cents. So, pretty big dip from its previous high, which was like $1.70, I think. Yeah, it looks to be. But anyway, right now it's in the handle of a cup and handle. I don't want to get into a whole bunch of technical analysis or anything like that. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just, I'm basically reading the news. So just take it as you will. Don't take anything that I say as advice to go and, blow your savings on something. But anyway, yeah, it's basically in the handle of a cup and handle, and has been on this steady run since the beginning of nope, sorry, just looking at the wrong chart here. I've got like 3 or 4 different ones pulled up. Yeah, it looks like the beginning of August it started to run back up a little bit, and then it just took back off right up to $1.21 that we're at right now. But that's Algorand. Taking a look at it. Some other news with it, some things that have happened recently. El Salvador has decided to go with Algo for its blockchain infrastructure. So that's going to be pretty cool. They're basically setting up a central bank digital currency. They're coming up with their own. They're going to use Algo for the whole thing. I don't know much more of the details, but as I find out more, I'll definitely fill in everybody on that one. But I think that's pretty cool whenever governments start working with stuff like that, especially ones that have kind of struggled with fiat currency, maybe their entire existence. I don't know. But some of these countries that, they need to start looking at different options. And I think that there is a place in the world, economically speaking, at least, for fiat and cryptos to exist. And I think this is a good way to do it. It's a good stepping stone. Seeing some of these developing countries or countries that have struggled come along and adopt new technology. But thinking of the NFTs that I mentioned earlier, I'm working on getting more of those. We just had some rough weather, and I use my drone for a lot of mine, so can't really fly when it's raining or too windy. We'll get out there. We'll get out there sometime. You have anything to say about Algo?
I don't know. I mean, have you touched on like the interest and like just kind of the benefit of holding Algo? I think that's going to be because we were talking about stable coins the other day, and I know Algo and Cardano and Ripple are going to be considered stable coins. If you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so with Algo being a stable coin, basically the way its proof of stake works, the more Algo that you hold, the more interest you acquire on it. So I think I just saw someone on Algorand subreddit had like 30,000 coins or something like that, and 3,000 coins. I don't even want to get into it. I can't really remember all the details of it, but either which way, it's pretty cool. You know, you hold it in the wallet, which is very simple to use. I migrated my algo from Coinbase. Yes, from Coinbase to the Algorand wallet a few months ago, and I've been a lot like I haven't really, had to use it a lot or anything like that for transactions. But as far as like minting NFTs and whatnot, it's very simple because it's easily linked to different like browser extensions for some of these minting websites and gallery sites and stuff. So it's just the little things like that that make it nice. But yeah, it's let me see if I could find out exactly like what the rewards are looking like right now. Let me open up the wallet. Um, uh, you earn rewards just by owning algos. Here's a summary of your rewards activity. Your last transaction, always included in your balance. Let's see.
So I'm guessing it's a percentage base kind of.
Yeah. Um, every address that holds one algo or more in a non-custodial wallet is eligible to earn rewards. Yeah, it doesn't give an exact rate. Thought that I thought that I saw that at one point. Maybe that was on Coinbase, but either which way, it's got a pretty cool little feature to it like that where you just hold on to it, and the more you hold, the more you earn. So makes it pretty neat. Moving on to the next one here and moving my charts around and stuff. But Cardano's my next one. I kind of fell into Cardano or ADA whenever I got started with Coinbase or started using Coinbase again, actually. And with Coinbase having the rewards where you watch like the little tutorial videos or whatever, I actually received some of it from that. And then I just kind of kept adding to it until I had, an amount that I was suited to have, I guess, whatever I felt like having. And just kind of held it ever since. But I don't really move it around or anything. It's another one of those that I just kind of I hold on to because uh, thinking about it, I believe that it has a similar feature as well as Algo with holding on to it and uh, gaining a little bit of a reward for it. Let's see.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't remember with that one. Sorry about that. I thought that I had that one with me, but either which way, kind of a brief overview of Cardano. Similar to Ethereum, actually so similar that um, the founder, I believe his name is Charles Hoskin, I think that's his name. One of the co-founders of Ethereum actually is a co-founder or the founder of Cardano. Um, so that's pretty neat. But they share a lot of the same features and whatnot. But Cardano and ADA, there is a little bit of a distinction. I've heard people use the both terms interchangeably ever since I really found out about it. But Cardano is actually the platform, and ADA is the crypto. So it's kind of like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Those are all apps on the internet. So just to kind of put it one way, but it's another one with a proof of stake concept, but it's another one that has a unique one. It's called Ouroboros. I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, I think that's another one that's an algorithm that basically, oh, I'm trying to think here. Basically cross checks or verifies the transaction. Yeah, sorry, I got kind of derailed there for a little bit, but its cap is basically 45 billion. I think that was roughly the number. I don't know if they had any more on top of that or whatnot, but 45 billion is the cap. There's currently 31 billion in circulation. Um, Looking at its chart, it's currently sitting at $2.86, and it's, if you're looking at the yearly chart on it, it's been in quite a run since July. Uh, July 19th, actually, it was down about $1.05. And right now, like I said, we're sitting at 286. So in that time span, it's really just been on a straight shot to the top, it looks like. But just interesting enough, back in 2020, it was about 16 cents. So that's quite the jump altogether, even from 16 just to the $1.05. That's a pretty hefty return. But basically, with Cardano, they aim to allow other blockchain tokens and cryptos to work with each other via cross-chain, side-chain transfers. So basically, instead of having to go through like Coinbase and convert your Bitcoin to Cardano or ADA, you could just do it, natively. You wouldn't have to go through that third party, that exchange service. But I know that they have an upgrade that's due out. They're shooting for September 12th. They're looking to add smart contracts as a feature via a hard fork combinator. So I'm not really sure. I'm not even going to pretend to dissect that one. If anybody out there knows anything hard fork combinators, then have at it. But me personally, that's something I'll have to dig into a little bit more. Another thing that I found with Cardano, ADA, whatever you want to call it, is Tesla, I think, is supposed to be accepting it later this year, possibly after the upgrade. That's another one I'm still trying to dig more into and kind of confirm, see if it's any rumor or if there's something to it. But that's just something that I kind of cross. Is there any you have about our Cardano ADA?
No, you covered a lot of it. We've been talking about Cardano and ADA a lot this week. You've definitely like touched on things that I didn't quite understand, like people were talking about. So I'm glad that there's more of a bridge to my information, actually.
Well, good. I'm glad. All right. Well, uh, moving on to the next one here, and this is my last one, and this one I really wanted to spend some time on because, like I said, they're kind of going through some stuff with the SEC, and it's just been kind of dramatic to say the least. It's been almost like a TV show to just kind of keep up with. But XRP, XRP, Ripple, whatever you know it as. Digital asset that represents the transfer value across the Ripple network. So again, we have another situation where one is the platform, the other is the token or the crypto. With this one, Ripple is the platform, XRP is the asset or the representation of the asset. But basically, what they're trying to do with XRP is they're trying to connect banks, digital exchanges, payment providers like payroll companies, I would assume. They're trying to connect all of them for faster global transfer. So to do that, they're utilizing the Ripple network, which is basically you have all of these different parts of the network that are connected via nodes, is what they described it as. And basically, XRP acts as the bridge between fiat currencies. So if you have, say, someone in the United States is trying to send money to, we'll say, Russia, and instead of having to do like a typical wire transfer through an exchange or anything like that, you could actually just go through XRP using the Ripple network, get it done a lot faster. It's uh, all done on the blockchain. All the details of the transactions are kept on XRP in an algorithm controlled ledger. So basically, you have an algorithm that monitors all the different aspects of the transaction taking place. Like I'm gonna say probably dollar amounts, where it's going, who it's coming from, all that kind of stuff. Basically, all the details of the transfer, kept on a ledger, monitored, and everything like that, completely secure. Uh, Back to the nodes again. This is where they come in. The nodes will communicate all over the world to validate the transactions. They'll kind of check off on different parts of it, and I do know that they have a security feature in that where you can actually select a list of preferred nodes that you can go through to have your transactions validated. So, that's always a plus to me. I'm always trying to figure out what can I make more secure, whenever I'm thinking things like that. Whenever I'm looking at a coin or crypto or whatever you want to say, I'm trying to figure out like a bunch of different things. But one of the important ones to me is, is it going to be secure, and is it going to be secure in its use? So it's just kind of two things that I always try to keep an eye out for. But I really only like this one. I really don't hold any XRP. I really only like it because of what they're doing to the SEC. So I do have an article
I'll pull it up in just a second.
that I was going to share with you guys. We'll get that pulled up here in a few minutes. But basically, it's an overview of kind of where we're at with the whole situation with the SEC and XRP or Ripple. Just taking a look at the kind of the start to it, what kind of set it off, like why did they even get involved in this kind of ordeal in the first place, what led us here, and just kind of the events. We'll just kind of do a brief overview of the whole timeline. But we can get that article.
Yep, I'm gonna get it right now.
Just a sec.
Alright guys, and it'll be on YouTube. If you're in the Discord, it'll be you'll be able to see it on YouTube, and I'm gonna post the link in the Trade Talk chat so you guys can follow along if you want to. Alright, so there's the article, and I am posting it now. There you go. Alright, so if you want to walk them through this.
Grab and drink water really fast. Give me just a second. All right. So yeah, like I was saying, this is mainly my big deal with Ripple, XRP. I like what they're doing to the SEC. It's always been one of those things like the alphabet agent, SEC. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but basically, all these different government agencies, sometimes they do have a little bit of a problem with overreach, or just kind of doing things the way they want to do them without necessarily following the rules or bending the rules, I guess. But um, one thing that we can look at with this whole lawsuit is it is exposing the different levels of, not to be cliche, it's kind of getting cliche at this point, some of this, but the corruption at the SEC. So, but we'll just kind of go over this. But all this started back in December. So December 2020, the SEC sued Ripple Labs for issuing and selling unlicensed securities to the public. The Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is still unfolding, and its findings will stand as guidelines for the cryptocurrency industry's future. By the way, this is from bncrypto.com. I've looked at a couple of articles from them before, and they've always, they've not really given me any reason to believe that they're not trustworthy. But like we said, the link is in the description for the YouTube channel, and then I believe in the chat here. But anyway, kind of scrolling through, kind of lost my place there. So basically, they were alleging that Ripple failed to register their ongoing offer and sale of billions of XRP to retail investors. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of jogging my memory there. So basically, the SEC was trying to say that Ripple or XRP was a security, which if you kind of look at it with sorry, I'm kind of having a little mental moment here. Give me just a second. So yeah, basically, the lawsuit was saying that Ripple was not acting properly. They were basically acting as a security, and going off of what this article defines here or outlines here, what is a financial security? A security does not have a utility and is a tradable financial asset representing some form of ownership in a corporation or similar entity. For instance, publicly traded companies represent shares as securities, often to raise capital. So, we're all familiar with that. Obviously, we had our fair share of discussion about different different shares and whatnot, especially with the AMC GameStop ride that we've been on. But with that being said, back to what we're looking at here with the article, a debt security is a financial instrument that represents money that has been borrowed. Terms specify the loan amount, annual percentage rate, maturity period, when it must be paid, and other conditions. So to the SEC, they're not very clear. Basically, they're just kind of hoping that being obscure in their previous filings or previous discussions or what have you, that way they kind of have the I don't know card to fall back on. I mean, that last part is kind of my opinion, but even this article kind of points it out here. What is a security for the SEC? Given the fact that in 2019, the agency publicly stated that Bitcoin is not a security, arguing that the SEC, sorry, my page jumbled here. Oh, sorry. Arguing that the SEC, in determining whether a token is legally a security, the SEC uses the Howey test. If anybody out there hasn't heard of the Howey test, basically it's a way of determining whether or not something is a security going off a previous a previous Supreme Court ruling. This article kind of outlines it a little bit here. Where is that? Yeah, in 1946, two individuals from Florida were sold parts of their citrus grove land. They offered the option to lease the land back to the sellers. They would serve the land, harvest, and make the products and share part of the profit with the landowner. However, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, sued them for not filing securities registration statement. So with that, is this page fresh? Anyway, the Supreme Court ruled that the contract was an investment contract, and it set the following guidelines to be used for future cases. So again, those guidelines, they came from from this court case back in 46. Those guidelines, there's an investment. There has to be an investment in money. The investment needs to be in a company or project, and the profit is expected. So profits came from the efforts of the promoter or third party. Although the Howey test uses the term money, it is used for other kinds of investments. Uh, how did they use this against Ripple, or how does this apply to Ripple? Ripple Labs, the company, which is a US-based company, they run the Ripple network, like we were talking about earlier with our overview of XRP. The company sold $1.38 billion worth of XRP tokens. So again, the token that's on the Ripple network platform. Investors bought XRP because they believed they were investing in an enterprise. Ripple's marketing, promotion, and supply manipulation made investors believe that XRP's price would rise due to the company's efforts. So that's kind of where the SEC came into play, as far as, hey, you guys are acting as a security and we don't think you are, and then, starts the whole dispute. But kind of getting into more of the timeline of things, now that we're through more of the backstory, back in December of 2020, December 28th, Coinbase actually delisted XRP because of a SEC-initiated lawsuit, the one we were just describing a little bit there, a week earlier, back in December 21st, 2020. The lawsuit was against Ripple, the CEO and co-founder. Allegedly, Ripple Labs is selling registered securities instead of a commodity in a centralized environment. The SEC is accusing two Ripple Lab execs of selling over 14.6 billion XP tokens as a means to fund the company and get rich. So, back to what we were talking about, that's where the Howey test kind of came in. They're selling all of these XRP tokens, and it's not necessarily a commodity. So, moving on here, December 28th, they delisted from Coinbase. That's obviously going to hurt the overall sentiment of the token. I mean, it definitely fell. I remember roughly that time frame, looking at it and seeing it fall, and just being in, not necessarily disbelief. Like, I wasn't necessarily surprised by it, but it was just kind of like, oh no, I wasn't expecting that to happen quickly exactly, but here we are. But moving on again. See, my page keeps. Okay, so yeah, we were in March 3rd. So now we're in the new year. We're in 2021. Ripple Labs execs, Glaringhouse and Larson, so that's the CEO and co-founder, they sent letters to the U.S. District Court of New York, the Southern District, in pursuit to get Judge Sarah Netburn to dismiss the lawsuit Ripple versus SEC. And that's kind of the process of things. You want to go through the courts and try to argue if you need to. They argue the lack of fair notice and due process. So that's kind of their basis for why they're petitioning that. Moving on a little bit more here, March 8th, 2021, SEC responds. So they finally send a letter to the judge after what took them 5 days to respond. Jeez, way to sit on it there, SEC. I'm being sarcastic. That's coming through. But anyway, the SEC responded by sending a letter to the judge to strike fair notice defense, seeking a hearing immediately. So now they want to sit down. They want to sit down and sit face to face, figure this out. Couple of days, maybe let's see, March 8th, March 22nd. Judge Netberg told the SEC her understanding of XRP is not only does it have a currency value, but it has a utility, and that utility distinguishes it from Bitcoin and Ether. So that's where it kind of gets interesting to me, because I believe that the chairman of the SEC had something to do with maybe a company that bought or dealt with Ethereum, something like that. Can't remember the details of that.
Well, Dee is asking, does this have anything to do with the infrastructure bill where they slipped in the thing about, and she says, wait, I think that was about Bitcoin. My understanding was Bitcoin would be classified as a security.
Uh, that very well could. I haven't really made that connection yet, but that's definitely something I want to look into now. I really appreciate bringing that up because that's something that always interests me, especially seeing who owns what and what happens next, especially whenever you look at it in terms of, uh, you know, kind of insider knowledge, not necessarily insider trading, but just kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to invest in this cryptocurrency because I personally am submitting this this proposal for, a new law against it or something like that. Just manipulation, and that's kind of striking to me. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next bullet point here. April 13th. So, SEC Commissioner Hester M. Pierce published the Token Safe Harbor Proposal 2.0. The updated proposal seeks to provide a 3-year grace period for developers to find a way to simplify participation in a decentralized network in which they would be exempted from securities law. So, this is kind of you know, in my opinion, maybe a show of good faith, like, hey, we're trying to make this easier on the cryptocurrencies, but that's kind of my interpretation of it. But moving on, next month, the following month here, June 14th, 2021. The court granted the SEC's motion to delay the disclosure of SEC's internal communications about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP until August 31st. Internal documents on other cryptos may shed some light on the general view of the SEC on crypto. The court has yet to rule if they want the SEC to disclose their internal trading policies around crypto. Yeah, that kind of, I couldn't have said that. I can't say anything different about that. That's that's kind of just the best way to put it. But August 31st, so we're moving on here. The deadline for disclosing the SEC's internal documents. The fact discovery must take place by this date. I don't know that there's been anything just yet. Oh, we got a donation actually. That is so cool. I've never done this. Like I didn't stream on Twitch or anything like Kenna did. So this is cool. DH, thank you so much for the donation. That's so cool. I'm kind of blank on my words here. I don't really know what to say about it. I'm just kind of sitting here just smiling like crazy. But yeah, I appreciate that. That's really cool. I definitely appreciate that. That's amazing. Even I know some people $10 might not be much, but that's somebody else's money to me. That's so cool. Um, anyway, before I just repeat myself a dozen more times, we'll just move on. We were last on August 31st, 2021. That's the deadline. Um, I have seen some stuff come out, but the main thing that I want to get into, we'll get into after this next point here. October 15th is the expert discovery deadline for a collection of what experts in the field of crypto and securities have to say on the matter. So that's whenever they start to get different experts in the field, kind of their opinions and their thoughts. Is this a security? Is this not a security? What do you give? This in relation to the safe harbor proposal. Like they'll just try to pick their brain about it. But article sums up a little bit here. What does the lawsuit mean for the crypto community? The entire cryptocurrency industry is watching the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, as its output will establish a precedent findings of the lawsuit will also help clarify the regulatory landscape for future ICOs. Um, so yeah, this is kind of a big deal. Like I said, I like what they're doing as far as getting discussions going. I don't necessarily know much or really care all that much about XRP and how it works with its platform and Ripple and whatnot. I just like that there's finally some exposure being sought in the form of some of these cryptocurrencies going to the SEC and kind of opening up discussion, trying to, expose like, hey, we're working with laws from the 1930s whenever we're way beyond anything that was around in 1930. So um, there was a we have you heard anything about the SEC versus XRP versus SEC stuff? Have you guys talked about any of that or?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. And it's actually you bringing it up is the first time I've heard about it. So this is it's been very interesting to hear about all of this. I know he's trying to find some more information about it, but and we can definitely dive into it more because I'm sure this is going to be the first one of many lawsuits we see in the crypto world. But I did want to say, D, calling you out. Yes, thank you so much. That is awesome, and I wish you guys could see his face. Like it was pretty epic. So that was great. But yeah, that's if we have anyone that wants to come up and talk about any of the cryptos or anything like that with Hambone, that would be awesome too.
Yeah, while we're waiting, if anybody does want to come up, I was looking for a tweet from this account that I found earlier today. Uh, Jeremy Hogan, and his Twitter handle is at attorney Jeremy1. But yeah, he's been somebody it looks like that has been keeping an eye on all of this as well between the SEC and Ripple. And he made a pretty good observation. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah. So here's what he says. Busy at work yesterday, so I missed the amazing filing from Ripple. Its motion to compel responses to interrogatories. Yeah, that was the other point that I wanted to make. I just kind of got distracted trying to find this. Anyway, basically, with all this stuff going on, we passed the August 31st deadline, and SEC actually, or Ripple actually filed another motion, as Jeremy here pointed out. The rest of his tweet here says, for example given, Ripple asked the question we have asked the chair Gensler, is Ether a security? And they haven't yet, but I believe the SEC will be forced to answer. So why that question is difficult for the SEC, he kind of continues on here in this thread. It's so difficult because if the answer is no, then it opens the door for Ripple to compare XRP to Ethereum or Ether. And as we know, only Ethereum had an ICO. Yes is not a politically fathomable answer for the SEC. He continues on. If the SEC answers, is Ether a security, with we have not determined yet, which is what I think the answer will eventually be from them, then that plays into the Ripple's fair notice defense argument. For Ripple, the is Ether a security question is a win or win. So basically, they've kind of painted them in a corner. Ripple has painted the SEC in a corner because they haven't, like I mentioned earlier, they haven't been clear on their rulings or their guidelines or rules for cryptocurrency. So it's kind of coming back to bite them. And like I mentioned, I believe that someone, can't remember exactly who it was, but someone fairly important with the SEC, had something to do with a major something to do with Ethereum, but I can't remember now, and I don't really know where to start with my question on that one with trying to find it right now. But let's see, there was another thing as well that I wanted to point out. I'm trying to think here. I think that I saw something about um, an article saying that the SEC was allowing the employees to purchase XRP, which, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. If it was listed on Coinbase, even for just a little bit, then of course, if they're interested in money and fiat currencies and cryptos as well, I don't see why anybody that was working at the SEC wouldn't do that if they're already purchasing cryptos on Coinbase. But either which way, I don't know necessarily how much that has to do with anything, but I just kind of think it's interesting. Just, you know, it's bringing to light more of the discrepancy between the laws that we have versus the laws that we need to have, and in terms of financial institutions, cryptocurrencies, and just anything that can have a direct influence on our currency and how we react to the world's currencies and, again, cryptocurrency. But I really just like how Ripple is treating the SEC, kind of playing them at their own game, and like I said, painting them in a corner with that motion that they just recently filed. But did we have anybody to come up? I don't think so. No? Okay.
No, but we did have, maybe you've heard of this. I haven't yet. But it was, is it Vive? VEVE? Have you heard anything about that? License, let's see. Don't really understand how licensed IP is going far less than what is selling on OpenSea. Vive has licenses from Marvel, Disney, Sony, etc. for NFTs, but no talk in the crypto community. Just wondering what your view on it. So I actually don't know anything about this. This comes from Joe Powell, and I will have to look into it. I've not heard anything.
That's a new one to me. I haven't come across that one yet, but now it's definitely on my radar. So I'll take a look at it. That seems interesting that it's got, big players like Disney and whatnot involved in it. So that's interesting.
Do you have any final thoughts? What's your favorite crypto out of the three that you mentioned tonight?
Out of the three, Algorand. Algorand, I've just kind of really come to like it because it's so simple. It's obviously got a use to me because, like I said, I meant NFTs with it. Whereas, the other two, I just kind of, well, one of them I don't even hold at all, but the Cardano or ADA, that one I hold as well, but I don't have nearly the same, I don't want to say attachment, but the same draw to ADA as I do Algo. Algo is just, it's simple. Um, it's got a great community with it. The team behind it is amazing as well, but the community is really nice. There's, I think, an official Algorand subreddit and then just a community ran subreddit, but they're both good. And like I said, just the ability to mint NFTs, in my opinion, that's something that's really cool to me. But there's so many different for it that are already being utilized. I mean, you have countries picking it up to basically lay the foundation for their entire blockchain to set up these, central banks and their digital currencies or whatnot. That's really interesting to me. El Salvador picking up on that. The Lofty.ai. That's a really cool situation that utilizes Algorand and its blockchain. It's a real estate investment company, so basically you can go on and I think the minimum investment is $50, but you can buy a fractional ownership of a rental property that they use an AI to research. They use all kinds of different data points, like if there's a hospital too close, then it kind of could present a noise issue or something like that. Like they just take like all kinds of just crazy details into the analysis that they put into determining what home to purchase for the program. But um, you actually do get a little bit of a return on your investment. I think you've got yeah, that's actually the page for it right there that outlines that. So, but yeah, that's another use case that's pretty cool to me. Totally blanking. It seemed like there was something else that's always been really interesting with it. Um, I can't think of it now. I lost it, but I'll go back to the wallet with it. I mean, uh, I don't know exactly what I was expecting. I guess maybe something with like an interface similar to um, what is that? Bitmart. Bitmart's app, like, it's a fine exchange or platform to work with, but the user interface and the app, it's not pleasant. It's kind of ugly. But Algorand, they've got it pretty well polished. I don't know if it's even the final iteration of it. I'm sure it won't be, but um it's just very user friendly, um, simple to navigate, really nice and quick transactions. If you're going from wallet to wallet, you just scan your friend's screen on their phone and get the QR code and you're set, which, I know pretty much every other crypto is like that, but this one having its own native wallet that, stakes uh, in the wallet and gives you rewards, based on how much you hold and, the transactions that you conduct and stuff like that. But yeah, that's me gushing over Algorand.
Well, I appreciate all the insight. I think, I mean, so I will say I'm fairly certain this is the wrap up of our crypto week, which was a very great way to wrap up crypto week because everyone's voting to do GME tomorrow. So, I mean, if we have any final thoughts for the night, anyone that's in Discord or if anyone's in YouTube that has a question to ask real quick, if we need to Google it, we can. Uh, Hambone is definitely more knowledgeable in the crypto world than I am because he likes to play with the cryptocurrencies. And he's actually the reason I got into Doge all those many, many years ago. Um, so if you guys do have any questions, if not, if you want to give up your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're getting ready to go into a holiday weekend. This, oh, yeah, I get my days mixed up anymore, but um, yeah, I know we're heading into the middle of the weekend. We've still got, quite a bit of it left. I just want everybody to have a safe one, don't get too crazy if you're gonna to drink, don't drive. What is the song? Don't drink, don't if you're gonna drink, don't drive, do the watermelon crawl or whatever it was called. But any which way, we'll probably see some action on the cryptos as far as probably some runs over the weekend. Uh, what's that? I think we got something over here in the. Oh, yeah, no problem at all. I'm more than happy to share my info for what it's worth. I'm not, like I said, an expert or anything like that, but I do read the news and I'm happy to share whatever I find with anybody that's willing to listen. But, with that being said, just have a good weekend and, be safe out there. Don't do anything too crazy. And if you do, just make sure you film it and send it to me. But that's all I've got.
All right, thanks, Hambone, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 10 p.m. Good night, guys.